All right, everyone, buckle up because today we're diving headfirst into the world of travel insurance. And not just any travel insurance, we're talking about Faye. Picture this, you've booked that dream trip to Kenya. You know, flights are set, bags are practically packed, you can almost taste the nyama choma. But then, bam, something throws a wrench in your plans. Like what happened to that traveler in Nairobi? Their hotel got caught up in an unexpected event. Talk about a travel nightmare.
It's those moments when you realize travel insurance isn't just an afterthought. It's about safeguarding your peace of mind when the unexpected comes knocking.
And that's where Faye comes in. We're dissecting a pretty comprehensive review today, really trying to understand what Faye is all about, and most importantly, are they the right fit for your travel style?
We're going beyond just a simple summary. We'll break down what makes Fays stand out, what sets them apart, and ultimately, whether their approach aligns with your travel style and your risk tolerance. Think of this as equipping you to make the most informed choice for your next adventure.
So, digging into this review, the first thing that grabbed my attention was this emphasis on comprehensive coverage. And I know, sometimes insurance jargon can make your eyes glaze over. But stick with me because Faye takes comprehensive to a whole new level. We're talking coverage for those everyday travel hiccups, but also, and this is where it gets interesting, coverage for more adventurous activities.
Exactly. It's not just about lost luggage or flight delays with Faye. They actually cover things like, get this, extreme sports. So
Mhm.
if you're an adrenaline junkie dreaming of bungee jumping in New Zealand, Faye has your back, unlike some other providers out there.
Now, that's what I call comprehensive. But it's not just about the breadth of coverage, it's also about the user experience. And Faye seems to nail it with their app. They've fully embraced the whole digital first approach, which, let's be honest, makes perfect sense for modern travelers.
Absolutely. Gone are the days of grappling with mountains of paperwork, especially when you're dealing with a travel emergency. Faye understands that time is precious, and their digital platform streamlines everything, making it incredibly user-friendly.
And speaking of speed, this review raves about their super fast reimbursements. I mean, we're talking claims process within hours. Is it just me, or does that sound almost too good to be true?
Well, while Faye generally receives stellar feedback for their quick turnaround times, it's essential to approach those claims with a healthy dose of realism. Real-life situations can get complicated. There are always external factors that might cause delays. However, the one constant seems to be Faye's commitment to open communication. They keep you in the loop throughout the process, which is crucial during stressful situations.
Right, because the last thing you want when you're dealing with a travel mishap is radio silence from your insurance company. So it sounds like it's not necessarily about instantaneous resolution. It's more about having that reliable support system in your corner, guiding you through the chaos.
Exactly. And that's where their customer service comes into play. Let's face it, when you're stranded in a foreign country, maybe facing language barriers, unexpected expenses piling up, having a responsive and empathetic human on the other end of the line can be a lifesaver.
Absolutely. And before we dive deeper into those real-life customer service moments, I'm curious about the whole booking process with Faye. The review makes it sound as smooth as checking in for a flight.
It's definitely a crucial aspect to consider. No one wants to get bogged down by complicated forms and confusing jargon when they're trying to get insured. Faye seems to have nailed that streamlined, user-friendly booking experience. But here's the key takeaway. They prioritize transparency, especially when it comes to their policy documents.
So no burying crucial details in the fine print, hoping no one will notice.
Exactly. Faye lays it all out. What's covered, and equally important, what's not. So you won't encounter any unpleasant surprises if you need to make a claim. This is where you, as a savvy traveler, come in.
I like where this is going.
Customizability is fantastic. But it means you need to be crystal clear about what you need. Don't just blindly check boxes. Think about your travel style, potential risks, and then choose coverage that truly aligns with your needs.
So it's like building your own personalized travel insurance safety net, making sure there are no gaps. I love that.
Precisely.
Okay, that's all about prevention. But how can we be certain they'll deliver if something actually goes wrong?
Great question. That's where the rubber meets the road claims and customer service. Let's dig into that now.
All right, so let's dive into Faye's claims process and customer service because, let's be honest, that's the real test of any insurance company, right?
Absolutely. Anyone can talk a big game, but it's how they handle things when the going gets tough that really matters.
Exactly. And this review repeatedly uses the word swift to describe Faye's claims process. They even mention some people getting their money back within hours.
That's definitely impressive. But as with anything, it's important to approach those claims with a healthy dose of, well, realism. Well, Faye has a reputation for speed. Real-life situations can be a bit messier. There are always those external factors that can sometimes cause delays.
Oh, absolutely, things happen.
Right. But the consistent theme throughout the review seems to be Faye's dedication to clear communication and that proactive support throughout the entire claims process.
Which honestly makes a world of difference when you're dealing with a travel nightmare. The last thing you need is radio silence from your insurance company.
Exactly. They seem to get that when you're dealing with a travel mishap, the last thing you need is more stress. You need someone in your corner, guiding you through it all.
Absolutely. It's like having a guardian angel who also happens to be really good with paperwork.
Exactly.
And speaking of guardian angels, the review mentions a pretty incredible example of Faye's customer service in action. Remember that traveler from earlier, the one who had their trip disrupted in Nairobi?
Yes, I remember.
Well, picture this. They're in Japan, a medical emergency strikes. And to make matters worse, they're facing a language barrier. Faye steps in, helps them navigate the entire ordeal, ensures they get the care they need, and most importantly, helps them avoid getting slapped with an outrageous medical bill.
Now, that's what you want from travel insurance. It's not just about the financial safety net. It's about having a team of experts who genuinely understand the complexities of travel and are willing to go above and beyond to advocate for you when things go sideways.
It's like having a travel guardian angel, a travel advocate, all rolled into one. But before everyone rushes off to sign up with Faye, there's another crucial aspect we need to address.
Oh, you're right. I almost forgot.
Those credit cards tucked away in your wallet. They might hold some hidden travel insurance gems.
It's so easy to overlook those credit card travel insurance perks. But trust me, neglecting them could mean leaving valuable protection on the table.
Okay, so how do we unearth these hidden gems? What should our listeners be on the lookout for?
Before even thinking about Faye, I want you to pull out those credit card agreements.
I know. It sounds about as exciting as watching paint dry.
It might not be the most thrilling activity, but trust me, it's worth it. Look for terms like trip delay insurance, lost baggage protection, emergency medical coverage, those kinds of things. You might be amazed to discover that you already have some level of coverage through your existing cards, especially if you have a card geared towards travel rewards.
It's like finding buried treasure, but instead of doubloons, it's peace of mind.
Exactly. And this is where your inner detective comes in. Compare the coverage levels, deductibles, exclusions of your credit card perks. See how they stack up against what Faye offers.
So it's not always a one-size-fits-all situation. Sometimes your trusty credit card has got you covered. And other times, Faye's comprehensive coverage might be the perfect fit. Now, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's circle back to our friend in Nairobi for a moment. Knowing what we know now about Faye, do you think their coverage would have applied in that specific situation?
Let's see, their hotel was affected by that event, right?
Yeah, exactly. So their hotel was caught up in that event in Nairobi. Would Faye have stepped in there?
Well, the review highlights that Faye covers cancellations and interruptions caused by unforeseen events, and that situation seems to tick those boxes.
Okay, so it sounds like they would have been covered. That's a relief. But of course, peace of mind comes at a cost. So let's talk numbers. How much does Faye's travel insurance actually set you back?
Well, according to the review, their premiums usually land somewhere around 7% of your total trip cost.
7%, huh? I guess whether that's a good deal or not really depends on a few things, like how much your trip costs in the first place. A weekend getaway versus a month-long backpacking adventure, that 7% could look very different.
Exactly. It's all about perspective and priorities.
Yeah, you got to weigh the cost of the insurance against the potential financial hit of, well, something going wrong.
And trust me, those potential costs can add up really quickly, especially if you're talking about medical emergencies abroad.
Absolutely. Those can turn into a financial nightmare faster than you can say travel insurance. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here today. We've explored Faye's standout features. We've dug into real-life claim scenarios. But the real takeaway here is that we're not about dictating your choices.
Exactly. This isn't about telling you what to do. It's about giving you the knowledge to make the best decision for yourself.
It's like we've given you the travel insurance toolkit.
Exactly.
Now you can go forth and travel confidently.
Precisely.
But before we wrap things up completely, there's one final question I think is worth pondering. When does travel insurance transition from being a nice-to-have to a non-negotiable?
That's a great question, one that every traveler should ask themselves.
Right. Is it about the destination, the type of trip, your personal risk tolerance? It's different for everyone, isn't it?
Exactly. There's no single right answer. The important thing is that you're asking these questions and that you're making informed decisions that align with your own unique circumstances.
Well said. That's some travel insurance food for thought as you plan your next adventure. And on that note, we've reached the end of our Faye Travel Insurance deep dive. Hopefully you're feeling empowered, informed, and maybe even a little excited to book that next trip.
Absolutely. Safe travels, everyone.
And before you embark on your next adventure, let us know what other travel-related topics you'd like us to unpack in future episodes. You can find us on social media or shoot us an email. We're always eager to explore new facets of travel and help you navigate this exciting, sometimes unpredictable journey we call life. Until next time, happy travels.